everyone, welcome back to another Bloxburg speed build. This one is not a tutorial, it's not a challenge video, although I'd like to do another challenge video again soon. My daughter informed me that you do not in fact start out the game with $8,000, so we don't really know how much you start out with. We think it might only be $1,000. If somebody knows what you start the game out with, please let me know in the comments down below. But I think I'm going to try. I'm going to really push the limits and try to do a $5,000 challenge and see if I can fit everything into one tiny little house and see just how far I can push this. But that brings me to my next thing. This build could have been so much better. This garden center that you're watching right now could have been so much better, except I have this problem, especially in Bloxburg, where I feel the need to fill up the entire lot. But what I want to build is a small scale thing. Like, I love watching people build mega builds, and I love touring them. I am very inspired by them. I am very in awe of people that can do those kind of things, but I'm a small scale builder. I like small scale things, and the problem comes in that I try to take those small ideas, those small scale builds, and I try to stretch them out over these massive Bloxburg plots, and it just doesn't translate well. It just does not translate well at all. So it ends up looking sparse and empty and unfinished sometimes. I'm working on it. I'm working on letting go of that need to fill up every square of that plot and just putting my all into my little builds. But like I said, this one is not a tutorial. It's not anything like that. It's just a, hey, I'm sick of winter and I want to do another Bloxburg build video, but I don't have any other ideas, and so I'm just gonna build myself a little garden center. Most of this stuff you can't even sell. It's literally just there for decorative purposes. The other thing that would have been helpful is having like other decorative items such as bags of dirt, tools and buckets that can be placed on the shelves just for appearances, if not to sell. I think, well, I know you can sell the flowers because you can like pluck them out of the pots after they're grown. So you can sell the flowers. Technically, you can sell all the plants if you sell it like to the game from the pot. But I mean, like, to sell things to other players in the game, other people, you can sell flowers, and I think you can sell the really limited amounts of fruit. Is it just fruit or is it vegetables also? I think it might be fruit and vegetables because I think, yeah, there's carrots and corn as well. So I think you can sell those to other players, although I don't understand what purpose of the fruits and vegetables are. Like, do you eat them? I haven't tested any of that yet, and I haven't read about any of it yet. So, like, do you eat them? Are they just for decoration once you pick them? Like, what's the deal with the apples and the corn here? What's the purpose of it? You know what I mean? So I might play around with that stuff in the future, but I know that you can sell the flowers to other players for sure. And everything else is unsellable because you can't pick it up and hand it to another player, so you can't sell it. And unless you give them access to your lot, they can't take it. And even if they could pick it up, they still can't take it with them. As far as I know, there's no, like, you can't choose to put something into your inventory And if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, but I'm pretty sure that certain things just automatically go into your inventory on their own and you don't really have a lot of control over it. A few tips, speaking of that. My dog, sorry. Speaking of things going automatically into your inventory, I have a few tips for you. One, that white line on the ground there by the parking lot area, that makes building parking lots a lot nicer, a lot prettier, a lot neater, and a lot cheaper because it's literally just that separating line on the ground that you find in real parking lots. I don't know why I didn't even think to look in fences for it, because The Sims has the same thing essentially, and so I should have known that it was in fences, but it didn't even occur to me until I started building, or right before I started building this garden center. Too, if you pick a flower from a pot with the idea in mind that you're gonna put it in a vase or set it on a shelf or sell it to another player, do not then turn around and replant in that same pot immediately while you're still holding the flowers, because the flowers that you are holding, you will lose. They will disappear into the nether and never be seen or heard from again. Into the nether? No, into the ether, and they will never be seen or heard from again. I had some very expensive, very pretty lilies, and they're gone now. They disappeared because I was holding them. I forget sometimes that Bloxburg does not have a queue the way that The Sims does, and so I went to queue up plucking the flowers out. I just assumed it would go into an inventory space, and then I could plant another flower in its place in that same pot and get it growing right away. Well, that's not how it works in Bloxburg. So I lost the lilies and I had to wait for the new ones to grow. And the lilies take forever. They take forever to grow. It is so annoying. So yeah, don't be like me. There are lots of other little mistakes that I make when building that end up costing me a lot of money in the end, which is why I'm never sure exactly how much I spend on my builds, or how much you might need to make these builds, assuming you don't make the same mistakes as I do, because it's hard to keep track of something like that. It's really, really hard in Bloxburg to keep track of something like that. And because you have to rebuild it yourself, you can't download it and put it into your game the way you can The Sims. You have to be aware of how much it actually costs to build versus how much it's worth. So yeah, I hope you've gotten some inspiration from this. I hope you enjoyed it, even if it's not so much of a tutorial. And we're coming up on the walkthrough real quick here, so I'm gonna stop talking and let you watch that. As always, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will probably hopefully see you in the next one if you decide to stop by.